to the cloud. Everybody say yes, yes, yes. Okay. I just wanted to say, how did people celebrate National Library Week? Or did you skip it like we did and focused on Poetry Month? Yeah, everybody skipped it. Okay, so I know some people did some stuff, but I was just curious if anybody.
I did a little highlighting some of the services that the library has. And I did a few things about my staff,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, but we didn't do much more than that. It was a crazy week.
Yeah. Well, and it was usually it's later. I mean, normally I remember it being like the second week, not almost the end of the month. But Connie?
We had the insert for the 4 Greenwood County libraries as part of the Dream Grant.
Oh,
Going
okay.
out in the Fall River paper comes out at the first of the month, so it went out way early. But on the brochure that highlighted, or the pamphlet insert that highlighted our libraries, it said celebrate National Library Week with the date. So that was our idea of celebrating.
Hey, that works. Promotion and marketing. That's we had a long discussion about that in my Iola board meeting last night. Let's see, we have, oh yeah, I saw your pennants, Wendy, and I saw that the state library posted a picture that you had posted. They reposted it. So about your pennants and all around your book, your front desk. And then Toronto, Jesse, welcome. Okay, you guys, everybody, our new director at Toronto is joining us today. This is Jesse. Jesse, say hi. So let's see, they did a quilt raffle. Ooh, and a book and bake sale. Always good to make money during National Library Week. Cool. Oh, our other new director, I think we introduced, she's not here today. Tara is at Neodesha. And then I don't know who else saw it on social media, but we're apparently Jerry Kay is on to bigger and better things. And there's a reception for her May 9th. So we will be getting a new director at Independence Public. So anyway, welcome social. Yeah, everybody. Long live social media and posting what everybody else posts. That's an easy way to do it, isn't it? All right. So hopefully everybody got the letter that I sent out about the bylaws change and basically a save the date. And don't forget, you need to have a system representative selected for the annual meeting on June 2nd. Everybody get that and forwarded it to your necessary people. Again, at the Iola board meeting last night, we voted on who our system representative was going to be because I'll be kind of busy that day. And according to our bylaws, we have to share any bylaw changes 30 days in advance. So that took care of, figured I'd kill a couple of birds with one stone. And April will be talking more about that, about what's going on in annual meeting when it's her turn. Lee? Lee, I see your hands up. You have a question? Maybe not. Okay. Currently working on the system plan, and the annual meeting will be that second thing in the day, keynote in the morning. So we hope to see everybody there June 2nd. Also on May 9th is the finance interest group. So anybody that watched the budget workshop or watched the recording of the budget workshop and has questions, the finance interest group will be an opportunity to have that informal question and answer session about your budgets, budget questions, budgets in general, yada, yada, yada. We have extras of the 2023 annual report pamphlet if you need more, if you want to give one out to your boards, your city leaders, your school superintendent, anybody that we might have missed, let us know and we can get some more of those sent out to you. And my final announcement for the day is the programming grants. So we've used up the programming grant allotment is divided January to June and then July to December, just to make it more fair. So the first half is accounted for, and we've got one grant into the second half. So we still have $700 for programming grants, and the board did increase those award amounts depending on if you're a gateway linking or service center 1 and above. So that information is on the website, and you're encouraged to work with Tammy and or April if you are interested in doing a programming grant or a CE implementation project. Remember, you can get those, you can get extra allocation for those on my Iola staff don't know it yet, but they'll be working on one before the end of the year because I want the extra $400 in allocation for next year. I already put it in the budget, so it has to be done. That's it for me. Tammy, do you want to go next?
I don't have a whole lot. I put a link on the notes page, and I'll put that link in the chat for anyone who didn't find it. To the ALA annual State of Libraries report. I thought it was a pretty compelling read and did an amazing job summarizing what's going on in several states regarding intellectual freedom and book challenges. There's some statistics, and if you scroll through, there's lots of charts and graphs if you don't want to read all the content, but I would encourage you to read the report when you have time. It really is a concise and compelling read about what's going on nationally. I also would like to tell you, and I'm thrilled to tell you if you don't know, the Parents' Bill of Rights was vetoed, and they did not have enough votes to override the veto. So even though it was passed, it was vetoed by the governor, which is good for public libraries in the state of Kansas. So we'll keep you informed if anything happens that would change the way you do business, but wanted to let you know that. We'll have the summer reading wrap up in September this year. And so look for more on that coming up. It's on the calendar, but I don't have the flyer out yet. And when it gets closer to time, it'll go out with registration. We try to send those out 2 to 4 weeks ahead of time, just so that you don't register for it now and forget about it. I know with your busy schedules, that's entirely possible if you're anything like me. We had a few people that attended the Reader Zone workshop that Reader Zone's Jake Ball put on. He does a great job, but if it's new to you and he zipped right through it and you're still confused, but you want to do it, let me know. And I'm happy to walk you through it step by step and help you implement or answer any questions that you might have. And I think that's all I have for now. Thank you.
April?
Basically, the big thing going on is obviously annual meeting. So anybody who wants to share about makerspace things you're doing, bring your items, have a table, do a poster session, let me know so I can get you on the schedule. And I think it'll be a fun day. We've got lots of stuff already planned. So lots of things to interact with and try out. So I think it'll be fun. And then Niche Academy, I've been adding things to that. The finance interest group, I do have all of the budget stuff on there too, if you want to access it that way. If you need to get access to Niche Academy, just go to the SEKLS.org website and click the learning tab, and it'll send me a thing to preview. So, and there's a lot of stuff in there now that I've added, and there's a lot more to be added. So easy way to get CE credit. So, and I think that's all I have today.
Gina asked, can people attend the annual meeting just for the Maker Day portion?
Yeah, in the afternoon. Yeah, so the keynote in the morning is gonna be, give me his
Jim
name.
Carell,
Yeah, Jim
who
Carell.
did the, who was director at the ICC Fab Lab.
Yeah. So he'll be our keynote and then the business meeting. And I assume we'll have some people that only come for the morning session and then need to leave and open their library in the afternoon. And then the afternoon is more, it's going to be more informal with different tables and booths and demos and a chance to walk around and ask questions. It is going to be interactive, but more, I keep thinking of when I was in kindergarten, we had these different stations and you would go to the different stations and do something. And it was just a fun way to learn. And that's a lot of, that's what I keep thinking in my head, that that's what the afternoon is going to be like. It's going to be fun and interactive and a chance to ask questions and see demos and really think about and explore how, if you want makerspace to be a part of your library services, if you already do have makerspaces, how you can enhance them or promote them or market them, or reach out to the community, make sure that they're used to the fullest. Or like Iola, just find out, give this an opportunity for the board to come and see what we're talking about when we say a makerspace at the library.
And to see what other people around the system are doing, how they're implementing it. So
Yeah,
get
exactly.
ideas.
Yeah. Well, and it's just so broad. I mean, it can be art, it can be craft, it can be 3D printing, it can be what are they called? Paper circuits, all the way to collaborative weaving projects, or sitting around and knitting and crocheting with your buddies every Monday night for 3 hours like they do here in Iola. All of that is making, so, and fits within libraries. And again, if you do want to do a CE implementation project, start with your consultant. And April and I did some visits last week, and we'll probably do some more. I don't know if we'll get to it this week. The first week of the month is always so packed with stuff, but hopefully sometime next week we'll be able to do a few more visits. And I think we're nearing the end. We've almost hit everybody.
And I will be visiting several libraries next week to give out the Apple certificates for their directors. So,
okay, great. Okay, Jason.
I don't really have anything. I guess I can let people know, if you didn't see, that Longton is back in business. So they're good to send things to and request from again. If you're having trouble with that info, I'll let me know. And then St. Paul is still closed for the rest of this week, but as far as we know, they'll be open again next Monday following the renovation. We do have another renovation coming up at Kincaid, and I'll send notice out about that early next week. It's a couple weeks away still.
Okay. Nobody from, no, she's not here. What we visited Parker, so Kay Bowman at Parker, and they're going to be, would you say 1.5 times expanding their building. It's amazing, all this extra space that they're going to have at the back of the library. So we've got lots of renovation going on all over the system.
She's here, Sharon.
Where?
I don't know on your screen, but I see Kay. Hi, Kay, say hi.
Oh, there's a page 2. There you are. Hi, Kay. I thought your space looks awesome. You guys are gonna do great things with that.
Good morning, everybody. So, yeah, we're excited to get it finished. We're kind of a one contractor waiting on one contractor, to push forward with it. But yeah, we are excited. I was hoping, Tammy, that we might have it ready by July 1st, so we could have our summer reading in there. But at this point, I'm not sure that that's going to happen. But whenever it gets done, it'll be done.
Awesome. Okay, Brenda.
I'll just put a plug in for our Share It Stuff meeting on the 23rd. if you do the interlibrary loan come, if you have somebody in your library that does it, send them instead. It's in person here at the office. So I mainly want to go over some of the features of on the admin side that people forget about or maybe didn't know about, and also talk about the participant agreement and the requirements of that. There's some settings that need to be turned on and set up that you might not have set up. I attended the first KILT meeting. That is the task force now. That's the advisory sort of arm to the state library board, since they're taking over the governance of Share It, Agent, KickNet, whatever you want to call it. So that's about it.
Okay. And then Kimberly, do you have anything for, I know you guys are, they're cataloging games today, board games.
Yes, yes. And I want to let everybody know, if you have a backlog of cataloging, just go ahead and send them to us. Make sure you might put some barcodes in there. We can't catalog them if we don't have barcodes, other than we could probably send them back and then you could add your item. But just send us, if you have a backlog, don't be afraid. Just send it to us. We'll get it back to you as quick as possible. And also inventory. If you have, you need stuff inventory, get a hold of us and contact Jason. And if you want to do inventory this summer, let us know. We'll have extra help, I hope, to go faster. So
Yep.
That's it for me.
All righty, thank you. Okay, Cindy is out with illness, so don't have her here today. All right. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to mention before we do round robin. The system directors and the state librarian had their first task force meeting on the 20, whenever we had the budget meeting, 26th, 28th. So I missed it, but watched the webinar recording and then had an hour-long conversation with Ray about everything that they talked about. So we are moving ahead. We're going to be meeting every other week to talk about governance and funding and roles and responsibilities of the state library and of the systems. And hopefully we'll come up with a recommendation for a more sustainable future. And I'll leave it at that. But know that we're having some really interesting conversations, and I'm cautiously optimistic. All right. And I think Dave is out in libraries today. Yes. Yeah. We still have the technology consultant position open. If you know of anybody, I need to figure out how to get that. I need to find a new way to post that, or new places to post that. So that's on my to-do list. Round robin, what's going on, guys? Need anything? Want anything? Want to share anything? This is your time to brag.
I'll go first. This weekend, we're doing the annual plant and seed swap. I have around 400 tomato plants we're giving away. We'll have people bringing in things like iris and ground covers and who knows what. We're going to have it in the pavilion behind the library, to the east of the library. And because it's supposed to be beautiful out, as to whether it ends up being beautiful is another story, but it's supposed to be beautiful out. And so we'll do it outside if we can, so that we keep people from tracking in mud and dirt. I'd like to believe we might have mud by then, because it's supposed to rain in the next few days. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, at that point, we'll be giving away all of the plants I have in the greenhouse, and I have a bunch. So hopefully that will be a successful thing. And it's from 9 to 12 on Saturday morning. So that's me.
Yes, Jenny.
I have a question for Brenda. You know, the meeting that you're having on the 23rd, is space limited, or can I bring someone with me? I registered, but I wasn't sure.
I think you can bring someone. I don't anticipate having a full room.
Okay.
Awesome. So if you live closer to Iola than Erie, we're having our plant swap on Saturday morning from 9 to noon as well at our shelter. We do not have 400 tomatoes, but last year we had a lot of iris to give away and herbs and a couple of clematis. It was a big mix last year. We gave out 700 rolled up poems on the 29th for Poem in a Pocket Day. That was our conclusion for National Poetry Month. And I don't remember if I told you guys about the steering committee. We convened a steering committee, and last night was our first meeting to figure out what to do with the Flew-Hardy Powell annex / house / land. So we've got some really creative folks from all over town, and I think we're going to have it's going to be a good group, and we'll come up with something impactful for the town, and hopefully move forward with either renovating that house, moving that house,
I don't know.
Frankensteining that house. I don't know. So we're going to leave the final decision up to the board and the steering committee. But
Like this, and I've never seen a key.
Okay,
But
there we go. Mute Julie. All right. What else is going on? Has everybody started drafting their budget? Got that done, sort of. Yeah. Well, I realized that I had to have a budget done for Monday's board meeting. So I got my budget done before the budget workshop, just barely. Not even a half an hour. This is going to be the shortest forum ever. Okay.
I'd like to brag.
Yes, April.
We had 16 4-year-olds come to the library, and you know that we have your castle.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to go through several little trials, and they become library knights so that they can help everybody know the rules of the library and where the books are. And this is like the 4th time we've done it, but the first time since the COVID lockdown. And they were excited. Of course, they got to chase their teacher with silly string to kill, quote unquote, kill the dragon. Outside, of course, not.
Yes, yes.
But it was fun, and they love the castle. And so it took some abuse, but it was nice to have that back again.
Yeah, I think it's whenever you have that kind of kid energy in the library and the laughter, that just it's good juju. Wendy?
And wait a minute, April, I would like to know how the progress is coming on your roof.
Huh.
Are the trash bags still up?
Yep. Still got the blue tarps. Waiting.
Okay.
And it's rained several times, and the walls are wet, the curtains are wet. So waiting.
I am sorry to hear that, and I hope that they make it to you soon. You do have someone under contract, right?
Have had since the seed grant was first awarded. They
That's what I
just,
thought.
it's, it's just one of those things. Everybody says I'll do it, and then nobody shows up. But we're tall. I wouldn't want, at my age, I wouldn't crawl up there. 20 years ago, I would. But yeah, just waiting. This is one grant I'm glad the city has got their neck out on, and not me.
Yeah.
And thank you, Sharon.
No, you're welcome.
You were the push.
Well, I mean, I think Kay, you said yours is also seed grant. So, and I think Karen and Howard is also using seed grant for construction. So,
Did everyone see that the CBDG grant timeline got pushed back? So if you didn't see that and you're still interested in a CBDG grant, that is so hard to say. Community-based development block grant. It's still, you still have time. So if I know working with the Department of Commerce hasn't been a walk in the park, and that's putting some people off. They probably need to have that feedback. However, if you need the money, you need the money, and it's still available and open.
Yeah. Well, and as we talked about in the budget workshop, one of your responsibilities is to make sure that you're communicating with your city and you know what their plans are for that block grant, and that they're aware of your needs so that you can get your fair share and you can get your turn. In a lot of communities, it's, you know, it's like, okay, every year they have some sort of big major project that they're going to earmark the block grant for, and just make sure that the city knows that the library wants to be on that list, and that you have need of those funds just like everybody else. We'll be doing that here in Iola for the whatever we do with the Flu Hardy. We're going to be requesting support from the city through that grant.
And when I went to the meeting this year, Sharon, this year libraries was promoted as one
Awesome.
of the ways to focus your CBDG grant.
Good. Good. Let's see. At Gerard, Tamara said they had 21 at their paint night last night. And we saw the pictures of the Ag Day that you guys had last month. That looked lots of fun. And I think my staff saw that and went, ooh, we should do something like that. That'd be fun. Andrea, ma'am.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I would say that the seed grant has been a little awkward. It's an awkward grant. I don't know how else to put it. And I think it's just like, you know, we have 4 different entities in our grant, and we all have to spend our 50% before anybody can get the next 50%, which I guess in a way kind of makes sense.
Mhm.
But like, I ordered furniture that's not even going to be in until August. So I had to get like a special invoice from the company so that I can go ahead and spend my money so that I'm not holding everybody else up. So I
It's
hope they
encumbered.
do the seed grant again, but I hope they do it a little differently. And I don't know how they can do that, but there has to be a little bit better way.
Well, hopefully there'll be an evaluation. This is the first year that they've done it, so growing pains, you know.
Yes, yes.
And well, and even if they don't, if they don't formally ask for your for an evaluation or for your feedback, we're intelligent people. We can craft an email that says, here's the things that worked really well. Here's the things that you might want to consider if you do this again. And please do this again. This has been very helpful.
Yeah.
And, you know, all those, that political stuff that you got to do. So, yeah.
I've never been involved with a block grant, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I always like to put it out there in case there's new people. The last 2 times we've had our roof done, we have gone through the city and they have done a USDA grant. And it's something, I don't know all the details of it because they pretty much handled it. But if you're needing a major, I don't know what all qualifies, but I think it has to be a pretty major thing, amount of money. That you talk to your city about that as well, because it basically it's a matching grant type of a thing, but it was very helpful in getting our roof done. But I think there was some matching to it. So keep that in mind, but it's a good deal. You can do it.
All right, Wendy, I think you were next.
As time has gone by here, because the school did not decide to fund parents as teachers, we have not had a lot of children come in the mornings, and particularly in the month of June when the school does a lot of programs at the school with the younger kids in elementary school. So last year I decided that if you can't beat them, join them. And so I collaborated with the school and worked with 2 different teachers 4 mornings a week through the month of June. And I'm going to do that again this year. In addition to that, I've met with the principals of both the elementary school and the high school to do some additional collaboration. And one of the 5th grade teachers was in here yesterday. This will be the 2nd year in a row that they bring their class over. We separate them into groups and we tour them around the library. And it's actually a lot of fun. And we have enjoyed seeing the younger people in the library more recently.
I think that's great. I know Tammy and I have talked about ways to, she had as one of her goals to encourage more of those public library, school library collaborations. So that's awesome to hear. And it was always fun. We had the schools come in May to learn about summer reading. So they would come to visit the library to do summer reading, sort of a soft launch of summer reading. And that was always a lot of fun. Funny? Oh, sorry, you're muted.
Sorry. On the seed grant, what we've found, like Andrea said, the 50% thing, we partnered, the 3 of the county libraries partnered with our city. Our city is doing a huge sign across Main Street and some other things, which will not be done till late this fall. So we're getting the pressure to get our projects done so they can have something, because our monthly reports on this. And like a big component of ours is our family engagement center, which is not happening in the middle of summer reading. It's not going to get done until after that.
Yeah.
We're doing some of the other components, the STEAM kits, the easy readers and things, but the whole process of the seed grant, and I love that they're giving money, but the application project, part of it was rushed. And then they told us we'd know within a month, and then it was 3 months. And it's just, there's a lot of fine tuning that needs to be done.
Yeah.
But in the realm of budgeting, and Sharon knows this already, we went to the city. We're one of the libraries that actually has a charter ordinance, because we opted out back when the original mill levy limits were in by state statute, which was a friend then, but has been a hindrance the last couple of years. And our original meeting with the city, there was one person, we got a lot of pushback that, we can't do this. And, your funding is in line with everybody else's. And it's like, well, everybody else is underfunded too. But things went well. We went to the city a week ago to the city council meeting, and it's not going to make our shortfall. We're lucky that we have investments, but we are tapping into principal at this point, which I don't like, to make up each year's expenses. But this should drop that shortfall by about 50% next year. So I'm taking the city at their word, because they'll have to revoke the original charter ordinance and everything. So, but that should be in the works, and they've agreed to raise it 2 mills. So 25%. And they even acknowledged at the city council meeting that is not enough, but it is a start. And it was too big of a gap to do in one swoop. So
Oh, congratulations. I think I shared that in the budget
yeah,
training too.
this was a battle that as I get ready to retire, I wanted to take on, so the next person did not have to do it, because I'm going to retire. What are they going to do? Fire me? I don't think so. And I feel like I can push more than maybe the next person who will be getting their feet wet and everything. So far, so good. So we'll see what happens.
Well, congratulations. Samantha put in the chat that Parsons applied for the block grant and to replace if you've seen their library, they have those, are they 1980s or 1970s sloped windows? They're very retro. And so they got over 50 letters of support. Sammy, did you guys also have to walk door to door? Because I know Brenda at Arma, when we went to visit her, she was in the middle of trying to gather all of that information for a block grant for that library. Did you have to do that? You didn't have to go door to door and get, like 75% of the community saying they support it?
No.
That has to do with how many people in the community have been identified through the census as low income. And so if you don't have that threshold, and I don't remember what the threshold is, someone else might, then you have to canvass your community.
Okay, yeah, because Brenda was doing that. She was doing the community canvas, and we need to follow up. I need to follow up and see how that turned out. Okay. Oh, sorry, Sammy.
You were talking about the grant. They extended that period, but I don't think if you hadn't already potentially applied for it by a certain date, I don't think you can apply for it now, though.
I think she
I think
had. I
that period is over.
mean, okay, I'll double check. I hope she
Yeah.
gets it though. Because if you've been to Arma, they put the library all back together, but one whole wall is just cinder block and with giant gaping gaps all over it. It's a mess. She can see the outside. It's not going to be good for summer. Kay?
Yeah, I was just going to tell everybody that, being a district library, I know that we don't have, to jump to the hoops like Andrea with the city or Connie with her city. So far, we have had absolutely zero problems with our grant. In fact, we received our second half last week, the 50%. So, I would encourage, individual libraries, other district libraries, to pursue if they offer these again, I really would tell you to pursue them. I think I agree with Connie that the application process was rushed. It would be a little nicer if we would have had notice longer to apply for them. But if it hadn't been for the grant, we'd still be talking about an expansion, not involved in the expansion. No, that's
So
my
Kay-
2 cents.
Kay, were you the only recipient then in Lynn County?
I don't know of any others.
Okay, then you're probably dealing directly then. So it's just your project.
Yeah,
not
we are dealing directly. We don't have a third party to go through.
and you didn't have to coordinate with 4 other people or 5 other entities.
No, or like Andrea was talking about, having 4 projects going and having to get them all to the 50% mark. No, it was just us.
It was just you. Okay. Thank you. Gina?
We are trying to move forward on getting our HVAC system replaced, and we're talking about a couple different options, but I thought we had a meeting earlier this year with the State Historical Society. Would you happen to remember who we talked to or who the contact would be to take a look at our building and see what we need to do to fix it up, basically?
Yeah, that was the very first interest group for buildings. And I think that was recorded. But we'll double check because that was pre-April. That was during Amy's reign. So we'll find that and get that sent to you. Building interest group. And that's who our guest speaker was from the Historical Society. And talked about that whole process. So, and that, I mean, because it's recorded, it might be something you want your board to watch as well, just so you're not the only one aware of what's going on, and it'll count towards your board continuing education if they all watch it together. Okay. Kay, did you have more?
No, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, great. Connie?
Sorry, no, I'm good.
Okay, great. Right. Anyone else? I know it's a mess. Our website is a bit of a mess, but if you're willing to dig through it, the continuing education page does have recordings for almost all of our CE. And then from our homepage, if you find and click on the little YouTube icon, that'll take you to our YouTube station and all of our archived videos there, including if you really miss, some of the fun skits that Kim and Roger put on, they're still there. So you can, if you're feeling nostalgic, you can go back and watch some of those. It's fun to look at the statistics to see which ones are still viewed. And a lot of that archived content is very popular. Andrea?
I just wanted to, give you guys good news on something. Well, I will say that, and I've reached a point where I just have to laugh about this stuff, you know, our whole continuing gender queer, you know, and them writing about us in the paper. And I knew as soon as that person shot up that Christian school and was trans, there would be something. And there was. People are going to read that book at the library, and then they're going to go out and shoot up a school. So I'm just preparing everybody that this is going to happen, because it's a terrible thing. So I'm not laughing about the shooting, but I'm just the whole concept that our book is going to cause that. I'm trying to find the humor in that, because it's not going to happen. They've obviously never read the book. So anyway, we still get this a little bit, but we're only in the paper about it once a month now. So it's all good. And we also got, you never know when, how far your being nice to your patrons will go. We had a lady that was a patron of ours, not somebody who's used the library recently, but not somebody that, I mean, I know who she was, and I'm sure we, you know, had interaction conversations. It's not somebody that I was like really a patron I was particularly close to, that passed away and left us $10,000 to the library. So yay for us. She also has left money to other entities in the community. So that's, I think we're going to find out as time goes on. I know the fire department got some money, and I'm expecting to hear other things, but so I was kind of excited about that. And so just be nice to your patrons. You never know who might secretly be a stockbroker investor. I did not know that about her. I mean, like, she was supposedly known for being an investor in the stock market. She's a little old lady. So anyway, you just never know. It's always interesting to see what's going to happen.
Andrea, I'm wondering, has your circulation increased since all of this started, specifically of the book that was challenged, but have you looked overall?
Our circulation is still steadily going up, just from, you know, we're going back up. It was down last month, but you know, that's not a big month for us anyway sometimes. But the book, I don't see it circulating particularly. I think it mostly sits on the shelf. I still have people. I had a lady that used to be on my board. She was one of those people that is very supportive in the community, not a library user, but was on my library board for a while. Mm-hmm. And I was out eating supper with my husband the other night, and she came over and sat with us and said, she's very blunt and very, you know, I just can't believe the blankety blank you guys are going through over that. That's just dumb. And we had a whole conversation about this. And somebody else that was walking by, she uses the library, but she was with this lady, and she says, you just hang in there. She walked by, you know, and a person, another community person passed away just yesterday, and my husband and I were talking about it, and she had named the Friends of the Library as one of her donations. And we were talking about the fact that she passed away, and they were business people in the community, her and her husband, and she, you know, a lot of things, and in a lot of organizations. And Daryl says, well, I think you'll get more money from her probably, like you did that other lady. And he says, she would always talk about you when I'd go in. She ran liquor store, so he'd go in, you know, once a week or whatever. And I said, she talked about me. He says, yeah, she's been telling me. He said, I can't believe all that stuff they're saying in the paper about that. That's just, I was like, okay, I didn't even know about that. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that are supportive of us and think it's, think it's just crazy. So there is that. So I do think that, I think what's going in the forum at this point is one or two people that are just trying to, just want to say something. And, but we find that there are a lot of people that do support us. And sometimes it kind of surprises me, the people that will comment. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that when I was at Kansas City Public, Dan, the director, would always tell this story that they started their endowment with a gift from a man they thought was homeless. He lived in a low rent apartment in downtown Kansas City. And this was, in the 80s when you didn't want to be in downtown Kansas City. And he used the library and loved the library and ended up leaving $40,000. And that was the seed of the Kansas City Public Library Endowment. So you just never know what impact you have. So stress customer service. Make sure you're
Well,
smiling at everybody. You just never know.
And I will say, I have a funny story about this lady that just passed away yesterday. When her husband died, she came in and she says, I want to bury they were big dog lovers, like huge dog lovers. And she says, I want to bury one of James Herriot's books with him. And she says, I don't know which one it was. We'll say it's all Creatures Great and Small. She says, but I can't find our copy. She says, can I have the library copy and I'll buy you a brand new one? Here's the money. I'm like, here you go. So one of our library books was buried with her husband because she couldn't find her copy of it. And I thought, that's all it does to make you happy. There you go. Because they've been library, not so much, she's a library user, but her family has been library users for a library supporter for a long time. If you've been in and seen our Beatrix Potter figurines in the hallway, her sister passed away when she was like 19, and they gave those to the library. They donated those to the library at that point in time. So they have been library supporters for a long time. So, but anyway, that's one of I was telling that story yesterday to one of the staff that wasn't here, and it's just, oh, that's one you got to pull out every once in a while. That's really good. So it's interesting.
Wendy says you should share that with ALA, and I think that would also be a really great one for that I Love My Library, the new Instagram that's going on.
Oh yeah.
That would be
that
an
and we
awesome
could
story.
throw out that Tegan changed somebody's tail light the other day. I said, now don't spread that around too much.
Full service library.
Well, it started out, they were looking for Chiltons to tell them how to do it. And then we were showing them online. We found the things. And then Tegan wanders out and she's looking at it and she's like, well, give me a screwdriver. And she said, I think you just need this bulb. And so then she came back and we put it in. And so, it was just a whole, she's one of our volunteers. So it's not like somebody that was just a random stranger off the street, but it was just kind of funny. I'm like, really? I think we might be going a little too full service here.
Oh, whatever. You never know.
But then she sent us flowers. So there you go.
Appreciation. Connie?
Thinking back to Andrea's recent challenges and some other people, and I've talked about this, it's hard enough. Andrea, what we've been doing is, you've been there, 35 years now. So you've built up a level of trust with this community. They've seen your work in action all these years. They know that you're there to benefit the community, and still you have people coming out of the woodwork, the odd few who would do this challenge. And how much harder is it? And at what point, I've not gone back and looked, but I'm curious as to what enrollment is in grad schools doing library degrees, if this is going to decline based on this, how much harder this is for people who are new in a community who don't have that level of trust. I think we're going to see, in terms of enrollment at Emporia, beyond this, just because of the other stuff that's going on in Emporia right now, I think that's going to affect enrollment there. But at this time when we really need leaders going in and furthering their education to be able to carry this on, I'm wondering how much this is going to affect that, which is sad. I would, if somebody came to me, I'd have to say, think long and hard about what you're getting into for the rate of pay. You too can be threatened, and so it's just a sad state of affairs. We were talking about it yesterday, and people saying, well, you're trying to groom, people, we don't have time to go to the bathroom half the time. I don't have time to groom your child. But it's just a very, very sad state of affairs that people feel this need to try to foist their ideas of what should be on other people and curtail their liberties. So
Did
I know.
anybody hear the, was it Judy Bloom talking about, she thought that the 80s were going to be the worst of it, and now she's living through it again with the book banning. I will say though that the MPLA Leadership Institute in Estes Park starts Sunday, I think. My friend Mickey's going as a mentor, and there's a couple of librarians from the Northeast Kansas library system that are going. I don't, has anybody here, I mean, I graduated from the Leadership Institute in 2006. Has anybody else in Southeast gone to the Mountain Plains Leadership Institute? Connie, you did? Yeah, it's
2004. Kate Capps and I went together.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went with Kathy Newland and well, Mickey went he was a student along with me, and now he's going back as a mentor. But if you've not heard of the Mountain Plains Leadership Institute, it is phenomenal. And I would strongly encourage you to consider joining MPLA and looking into that as an opportunity. And I think that one of our roles as library directors are to mentor the next generation, because once you catch the bug, once you drink the Kool-Aid, once you work in a library, you're like, ooh, I think I want to be a librarian. And that's it. I had in Pennsylvania, I had 3 of my staff go on to library school.
As Mickey would say, it's not a job, it's a passion.
It's a vocation.
Yeah,
Yes. It's a
yeah.
calling.
Yep.
Yep. No, that's, yeah, he used to always diss on his wife. She's like, oh, she's got a job. We have a vocation. I was like, poor Patty.
Connie, I would agree with everything that you said. I also wanted to bring up I think that we're beginning to get more support from outside voices outside the profession. And I'm thinking of the authors that are now standing up and going, wait a minute. And usually it happens when their books are challenged, like Nora Roberts is now making a huge push, and there's a foundation and she's donated a bunch of money. And so I think that if you read through that State of Libraries report that Tracy Hall put out, you can see some of that from the outside. We're also receiving lots of support, but I think that I know for many people, librarianship aligned with their values. And so I think that whenever people find that are looking for a profession or a vocation, however you want to put it, then I think that we do see that influx of people into the profession. But yeah, I absolutely think there's a chilling effect on the people that are enrolling in programs. But I think that Kansas has its own special set of issues, and we'll have to address many of them, and not just it's not just all about book challenges. And hopefully, Sharon, the library directors and the state library are keeping some of that in mind. I'm sure that they are. As part of your conversations, but promoting what we do for libraries and librarianship along the way, and raising our voice about wages, which are incredibly low, I think is important. So don't make that a secret, make sure that people know how much work you're doing for the amount of money that you're making, because and your staff as well. Librarianship is a very low paid job in this state. So, and that's why we see a lot of turnover.
Yep. Let me talk about that. April, are you seeing, you're an instructor at a library school? Are you guys seeing any kind of a decrease in enrollment, or is your program still bringing in new people? Oh, you're muted, I guess. Or double check your mic. No. Oh, well, do it in chat. Andrea?
On a plus note, I did hear something the other day, and I want to say it was like an I-state or maybe Ohio, I don't know, that they were trying to pass some sort of legislation that make it illegal for a library board to ban a book. Now, how that would work, or if they can even do that, but at least somebody was talking about it. So I thought that was a good thing. So there's that.
Well, it kind of already is illegal to ban a book because it violates the First Amendment.
I think they were going further than that. I don't
yeah.
know exactly what it was. I just kind of caught it on the, you know,
Make
half
it,
listening to it type of thing. So
make it explicit.
yes.
Yeah.
So,
And April said no decline in Dominican, and their classes are very full. So that's good to hear. Yeah, and consider interning or having internships. I know it's something we're talking about within SEK if we want to have an intern to help grow the profession. All right, well, it's 9:56. We've been here about an hour. Yay. We filled up that last 40 minutes pretty good. Is there anything else? If not, I'll let you go on to your next whatever. Okay. Well, thank you. If there's anything that you guys didn't want to bring up in public, but you want to email me or April or Tammy or whoever, feel free to do that. We're here for you. That's what we do is consult. So have a great day and thank you so much. Okay.